cold wave swept the globe. In just 1 month, blizzards raged continuously. The temperature plummeted to minus 5,880 degrees. The entire city was frozen into an ice sculpture. This isn't a movie. The extreme cold apocalypse is truly here. Early in the morning, the phone rang like a death knell. I answered the phone impatiently. It was my cousin, who I hadn't spoken to in a long time. "What's wrong, sis? So early in the morning. What's the rush?" You. I need to tell you something serious. Every word I'm about to say. Inoachok. You must listen carefully. My usually cheerful cousin sounded so serious. Did something happen at home? What is it, sis? Don't laugh at me. I'm telling you. The latest monitoring from the National Climate Center shows that, in a month, the world will face an unprecedented, large-scale climate change. That is an ice age apocalypse. What? What ice age apocalypse? You mean like the movie, The Day After Tomorrow? I was a bit baffled. Is today April Fool's Day? This is the news your uncle and aunt got from working at the Meteorological Bureau. There's no time left. We have already found a shelter and hoarded supplies. You need to prepare quickly too. Oh, and make sure to tell your parents this news. My cousin's voice abruptly stopped. The phone seemed to have been intentionally hung up. What is all this? This joke from my cousin wasn't funny at all. Première inédite. And went back to sleep. The next day, when I went downstairs to pick up my takeout, I realized the temperature was indeed very strange. It was already November, but the sun was still scorching hot. Clear ski. I didn't feel cold wearing a dress. I even felt like wearing short sleeves. A week passé, and the temperature remained unusually warm, even showing a trend of getting hotter. I couldn't help but associate this with what my cousin said. My cousin had never played jokes on me before. I couldn't sit still anymore. I decided to call her again to ask what exactly was going on. "Hello, the number you have dialed does not exist." A cold, mechanical female voice came from the other end. Why did it become a non-existent number? I don't know if it was a woman's sixth sense. But remembering my cousin's serious tone, I felt a faint sense of unease in my heart. Whatever, better safe than sorry. It's better to believe it. I must start preparing today. This winter is exceptionally warm. We've already entered November. Yet, it's still as warm as a spring day. Agent le braise. And pleasant sunshine. And this is exactly where the climate anomaly lies. I plan to order a batch of supplies first. Nothing else for now. Just enough thick quilts, body warmers, and ultra-thick down jackets. I've always been a Doomsday fan, having watched countless disaster movies. But now that the apocalypse might really be coming, my heart suddenly felt a surge of anxiety and fear. It turns out, reading what others write and experiencing it yourself are truly completely different. A month's time is neither too long nor too short. When I got the news, a week had already passed. Adding the few days I slacked off at the start of the month, I now have less than 3 weeks left. I absolutely cannot delay the preliminary preparations. Using my connections, I rented a villa with a massive basement. When the extreme cold hits, heating and electricity will stop. When that time comes, no matter how much we fortify the surface, it will eventually become uninhabitable. So we must move directly underground. Étoile, both inside and out, must have 3 added layers of freeze-resistant concrete. Doors and windows must all be replaced with explosion-proof ones. I immediately reached out and contacted the best local renovation company. It took a lot of effort and a substantial amount of extra money to get the workers to come today to build the walls, reinforce, and insulate. After the schedule was set, my heart still felt heavy. In the face of natural disasters, human beings are so insignificant. I don't know if we can survive this catastrophe. But premier que non. In order to live, I must try my absolute best. Since it's a newly rented house, it's completely empty inside. The supplies I ordered in advance won't be delivered until next week. So I paid extra to ensure the workers guaranteed both quality and speed, and finished the renovation before next Monday. Because I paid generously, the workers were very efficient. Not only did they finish quickly, but the quality was excellent. They finished a day earlier than the scheduled date. I generously paid the final balance and gave each worker a red envelope. I wasn't idle this week, either. I went to different supermarkets to buy large quantities of body warmers, electric heaters, and rechargeable hand warmers. During the renovation, I also had the workers install a fireplace and a chimney flue, just in case. Force affetti. Security cameras at the door are naturally essential. In the apocalypse, human nature is the most terrifying thing. Premier soir de 3 noodles. 200 boxes of self-heating hot pot. 50 boxes of snacks. 30 boxes of compressed biscuits. 12 boxes of sausages. 10 boxes of braised goods. 500 barrels of drinking water. 100 boxes of bottled water. 200 bags of rice. A ton of flour, and various other foods. Besides, I bought various kinds of seeds, condiments, and daily necessities. I had them delivered to different warehouses I had rented in advance. In the dead of night, I secretly transported them back. After spending several days, finally bringing all these supplies back, I lay on the sofa, too exhausted to move. Team Floby. After I had bought almost everything, I brought my parents over to live with me and told them what my cousin had said. Fortunately, Mom and Dad always believe what I say unconditionally. The apocalypse is terrifying. I can only try my best to protect my family. It's about to get cold. I'm completely swamped. On one hand, I have to buy supplies and fortify the underground bunker. On the other hand, I have to rack my brains to think of anything else we might be missing. I still felt a bit uneasy. For the 3rd basement level, I hired another group of workers to inspect it, ensuring no corners were cut. During this time, the food storage alone had already filled the 1st basement level. I thought the house I rented was already huge, but it still felt far from enough. Premier continuously bought more food that could be stored for a long time. I even bought a lot of alcohol. If the temperature gets too low, drinking alcohol can also keep us warm. The day before the apocalypse arrived, I sat on the sofa, lost in thought. The word apocalypse felt too distant from me. I had only read about it in novels or heard about it, but I never thought it would actually happen to me. Happening in the era I live in. I walked alone to the window and looked up at the sky. There was no moon today, but the sky still had a glow. It's so red. When did the sky turn dark red? Is it going to snow? My inner unease reached its peak. At that moment outside, The extreme, cold apocalypse is truly here. Early, the next morning, the snowflakes turned from sparse flakes into heavy snow. It only took 2 hours. My parents and I looked through the villa's window, watching the snow in the sky get heavier, and the snow on the ground get thicker. The snowflakes went from being the size of coins to gradually becoming as big as a child's fist. My parents said they've lived for over 50 years, and this is the first time they've seen such heavy snow. Our family was on the 3rd floor of the villa, each taking a room. It wasn't too cold right now, so there was no need to move into the basement unless absolutely necessary. We didn't want to live underground. In the afternoon, I subconsciously glanced outside again. The snow was already ankle deep, with no signs of stopping. Next to the villa is a large farmer's market. Shouts from vendors echoed one after another. Perhaps everyone was stocking up. After all, with such heavy snow, everyone surely knew a temperature drop was coming. Who would want to go out to buy groceries every day in such cold weather? Due to the busyness of the past few days, my nerves had been tight. I decided to go back to my room to sleep for a while. When Premiere woke up, because the AC was on, the room was very warm. The internet was still working. The news said the city's heating would begin tomorrow. More news reported that our country had experienced the largest scale of snowfall in history. The news urged citizens to minimize movement and avoid going out. I walked to the window and opened it just a crack. Ice. So cold. Première shivered, and hurriedly closed the window. I glanced at the thermometer on the wall. The room temperature was still 26 degrees. The AC was running normally, although the underfloor heating hadn't started yet. Fortunately, the power hadn't been cut. On the 3rd day, my parents resumed work, working their normal 9-to-5 jobs from home. Life was plain and peaceful. Heating was normal. We didn't even need the AC. Wearing short sleeves at home even felt a bit hot. The temperature in the villa stabilized at 28 degrees Celsius. This year's heating was really effective. The internet remained smooth, although our city hadn't changed much. Regions across the country kept falling into blizzards. This massive, abnormal snowfall was unprecedented. The country named this snowfall the Northern Warm Winter Blizzard Season. In the blink of an eye, 2 weeks passed. Outside, the sky had been dark red for 14 consecutive days. The sun never came out again, as if it had never existed. A lot of things happened in these 2 weeks. Because it wasn't overly cold, we hoarded a lot of fresh vegetables at home. Prices are getting higher and higher. Everyone is hoarding food for the winter, and nobody wants to go out. The vendors made a huge fortune. Days passed like this, one by one. The temperature dropped every day. The room temperature could only be maintained at 28 degrees Celsius with the AC on. You could rarely see pedestrians or vehicles outside. The kids who came out for snowball fights a few days ago don't come out anymore. After all, we live in a wealthy neighborhood. Heating and security are very good here. For now, as long as we don't go out, we can maintain the status quo. Online, we learned about the situation in other areas. In some regions, due to continuous low temperatures, outdoor work was completely suspended. Because the disaster struck so suddenly, many people without heating equipment had to go to shelters. But, fortunately, our neighborhood is relatively safe. Every household hoarded a lot of food. Power and heating are normal. So there's no need to evacuate to shelters. Just like that, oui. It's exceptionally cold outside today. Consequently, the temperature inside the house also dropped. I checked the thermometer. The room temperature was 21 degrees Celsius. I immediately turned on the AC. Our home can no longer rely solely on central heating. Although the heating equipment is still holding up, its effectiveness has diminished. Today, many people in the neighborhood have already driven away. Even though the heating is still working, I guess they don't have much food left at home. Some people are still holding their ground, thinking it's just a heavy snowstorm and not worth panicking over. Just buy more food, they thought. At the theme, a message in the homeowners group chat caught my attention. Someone asked if anyone had fever medication. His child had a fever. Seeing the message, I felt a bit sympathetic, but I am no saint. I need to be responsible for my family's safety. So I didn't reply in the group. If others knew I had supplies, it would bring unnecessary risks to our home. A few days later, the outdoor temperature had dropped to minus 40 degrees Celsius. The temperature kept falling. The outdoor temperature gradually dropped to minus 48 degrees Celsius. It's getting colder and colder. The snow started again. At first, it was light snow. Then it slowly turned into heavy goose feather snow. Fin. The homeowners in the neighborhood successively went to shelters, driving away one after another. The family that asked for help in the group last time hadn't left yet. Butitim. T'es directly amendu. Kind person, please save us. Our food has bottomed out. If the child doesn't eat, he will starve to death. How did that man know I had supplies? Wa première signe. When transporting supplies at night, no mate wa triplay. We hunkered down in the villa for over half a month. That family didn't send me any more messages. Perhaps they couldn't hold on, and went to the shelter. Gradually, I put them to the back of my mind. The temperature outside had reached minus 56 degrees Celsius. Complaints filled the homeowners group chat every day. You can't buy food anymore. Even if you can, it costs astronomical prices. This is a wealthy neighborhood. So someone started offering a car for a bag of rice. Someone offered a luxury watch for 2 loaves of bread. But these messages sank into the sea without any replies. The food reserves on the ground floor are probably only enough for half a month. After that, we will have to move underground. With the AC running indoors, it can only maintain 16 degrees Celsius. The heating effect is getting worse and worse. Every household is starting to run out of food. Finally, the remaining homeowners in the neighborhood also started preparing to go to the shelter. Someone posted a picture of the shelter in the group. I casually clicked to enlarge the photo and found the shelter was already overcrowded. It can no longer accommodate new people. The gates are already closed too. While I was browsing the group chat on my phone, a sudden loud bang startled us. It was the sound of glass shattering. We looked in the direction of the sound. The glass of the mall next door, which served as a shelter, had been smashed. Crowds and cars gathered by the mall. Everyone was frantically pushing into the shelter. The scene fell into chaos. I even heard gunshots. Dad quickly told us to go back inside. Before I could clearly see what happened next, Dad pulled me back into the room. In just one night, everything completely changed. What's terrifying isn't just natural disasters, but human nature. Under the apocalypse, without the constraints of law, how crazy will people get? At this time, someone sent another message in the group. Hey, 12,138 has supplies. I asked him before, and he wouldn't give me any at all. Now we must unite and go to their house for supplies. That's the only way we can survive. Why should these selfish people live well? Humph, I sneered. Thinking how unpredictable human nature is, I turned to Mom and Dad and said, we can't delay anymore. Leave the surface supplies to them. I've installed cameras in the house. Turn off the AC and take the remote. Now, let's go hide underground. We packed up briefly and immediately went to the basement. Dad looked at the multiple doors of the basement, then found even a grenade couldn't blow this open, right? Hee, of course not. This is solid bulletproof grade. Seeing my dad's surprised expression, I felt very proud. I opened the security feed on my phone and found our front door had already been breached. Many people flooded in, holding various weapons in their hands. They were fighting over the distribution of supplies on the first floor. On fight. Over the past few days, through the cameras, I watched these uninvited guests' every move daily. Every day, they would try to find a way to open the door. Unfortunately, they failed every time. As tiempo passed, there wasn't much food left. They became irritable and started fighting. A little while later, looking at the camera, only one man remained. Now, I have the supplies. His smile made my hair stand on end. Another month passed. I checked the cameras again. Battement. From go à grenade. And prepared to blow the door open. He glared viciously at the camera and roared. Once I get in, I'll teach your family a lesson. Then he quickly ran out. With a huge bang, I felt my room vibrate. Fortunately, I didn't cheap out on these doors back then. The walls were also triple thickened. The door only suffered some superficial scratches. The man roared in sheer incompetence, then left, utterly defeated. Another month passed. The heating equipment completely broke down, but, for some reason, the electricity and internet remained normal. Through the camera, I saw that man had eaten all the supplies. He was exhausted. The temperature in his room had dropped to -300 degrees Celsius. I guess he'll leave in a day or two. The outdoor temperature had reached a ridiculous -650 degrees Celsius. Unimaginable. In just a few months, the temperature plummeted to the bottom and was still continuously dropping. For the first time, I felt how insignificant humans are in the face of nature. I had imagined all kinds of apocalyptic movies. Back then, I only thought they were thrilling. But when a disaster truly strikes, I can only instinctively feel fear and terror. El weekendo is hide in this small underground space. Whether we use up our resources or just sit and wait for death. Anyway, we have to survive longer. 2 days later, through the security camera. I saw that man lying in bed all day without moving. No food, no water. Not even rolling over. Perhaps he was already. The temperature dropped steadily. Every day, it would be 300 or 400 degrees lower than the day before. Today, it went from minus 650 degrees to minus 1,650 degrees. Just like that. We lived peacefully for another month. The temperature drop has leveled off. But there isn't much room left to drop anyway. Now, it's minus 5,000 degrees Celsius outside. You could say that if a person's skin is exposed outside, it would instantly freeze solid. Days passed day by day. My phone has run out of battery. The lights broke one after another. I moved all the beds into the master bedroom, sleeping in the same room with Mom and Dad for warmth. With everyone in one room, it really was much warmer at night. Blankets were layered one over another. Mats were also stacked layer by layer. Now, it's a bit of an effort just to get into bed. Half of our hoarded heating supplies have been used up. The hope of the apocalypse ending is getting slimmer. My sleep time is getting shorter. Extreme anxiety has troubled me for a long time. Today, I completely lost sleep. Lying beside me, Mom noticed my anomaly and told me to go to the living room. I tiptoed after her into the living room. Mom handed me the hand warmer. I shook my head. You. Mumkina. Since the apocalypse arrived, you've been under a lot of pressure. You. Mom is telling you. Mom and Dad promise. No matter what happens, we will stay with you until the end of our lives. The emotions I had suppressed for too long erupted. I hugged her, crying softly. There, you. Mom gently patted my back, bringing me warmth and strength. After a long while, I finally said, Mom, you have to keep your word. Mom patted my back and softly comforted me. Okay. Mom promises you. Just like that, passed. The temperature had dropped to minus 5,880 degrees. After reaching this temperature, it stopped dropping. I subconsciously glanced at the AC and found it actually started working. What's going on? Has the temperature risen? Or is the power restored? Does that mean the apocalypse is over? I cried out in surprise. The power is back. I quickly charged my phone and turned it on. Miraculously, the cell signal was restored too. Surenog. There were new messages. Sorry to inform everyone so late. The northern warm winter apocalypse has arrived. We have tried our best to repair the cables in some areas, as well as the signal and heating systems. We are also finding ways to recover. Please trust the country. The country will not abandon any survivor. Another 3 months passed. After the power was restored, we went back to a relatively normal life. We didn't have to huddle together for warmth, nor drink freezing cold mineral water, let alone live in a dark space. Days just went by one after another like this. I occasionally checked messages on my phone. More and more areas began to restore power and internet. The surface temperature also began to gradually rise. Life is finally getting back on track. The apocalyptic crisis has finally come to an end. Even though we still can't leave the underground, to live on the surface. Everything is getting better. Is nostit? Life is full of hope again. Can the arrival of sunshine be far behind?